Let's see what's on the internet today. Okay, alright, we got that new Assassin's Creed trailer. Let's check it out. Oh, wow. We got a new black character. And he's the main character? It's pretty bold, man. I'm not gonna lie. Those comments are gonna tear that man to shreds. Oh, nice. We got two protagonists this time. You know, I really don't want to do this, but let me just check the comments. Wow. Okay, yeah. I mean, it's kind of what I expected, I guess. Let's just see how much this game cost, right? It can't really be that much, right? $60, right? I mean, it's kind of like standard at this point. Good lord. Yeah, man, if the graphics don't surpass all expectations, this game is going to die. Alright, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today we're going to be talking about someone who we haven't talked about here on the channel ever before, and that is Asmongold Tv. You might have seen his face pop up on your timeline here and there. To my knowledge, he's a reaction channel, and you know, from what I've seen, he's only reacted to Moist Critical videos, but I'm sure he does a lot of other content as well. Now, the reason why we're talking about him today is because I saw a video very recently that was critiquing one of his takes about the new Assassin's Creed video game that is coming out. And from what I can remember, like maybe last year when the game was first announced, it's taking place in Japan. And so, you know, everybody was like pretty hyped about it. I thought that the picture looked cool. I was excited to see what was going to come of it. And now here we are sometime later where the trailer drops. And for whatever reason, it's receiving like a ton of backlash. Now, I say whatever reason, like I don't know exactly what's going on. Of course, I'm aware of why people don't like the trailer. It's pretty much because it looks like they're just trying to force diversity into gaming once again. Now, longtime viewers of the channel will know that I've voiced my opinions on a number of different matters that have to do with like a similar type of thing. I'm not going to name any names, but it's usually a certain type of community that normally I don't exactly have a problem with. It's just when they try to force stuff down my esophagus every chance they get, it starts to get fucking annoying. So believe you me, I don't like forced diversity in video games. I think video games should be a separate place from the real world, or like to a certain degree, to where you can just relax and not have to worry about the outside pressures of real life. Here's another thing about me. I play a lot of Destiny, and if you didn't know, Destiny has a buttload of diversity in that game. So to a certain degree, I'm kind of desensitized to both sides. So you could imagine my shock when I heard Asmongold's take on the whole Yasuke and Naoe, or Naoe, I think that's how you say her name. It's the other Assassin's Creed main character from the new game. I damn near went full-blown SJW feminist mode, bro. Like it was a new side of me I didn't even know I had. So what is this Asmongold take that has me going crybaby wawa mode? Well, take a look at it for yourself.
So we got our first look at the new Assassin's Creed game, and I gotta say, man, I'm not impressed. I'm actually just really annoyed right now. We have two main protagonists, one female, one male, just like Odyssey. We're gonna be using Neo, I hope I said that right, a female Japanese character. Yeah. And for the male character, they're gonna be using Yasuke. Now, I'm annoyed because they're using Yasuke, and I'm gonna tell you why. Yasuke is what they want to say is the first black Japanese samurai, when in all actuality, he was not even a samurai. He was a retainer, so he wasn't even a full-blown samurai. And for all of the characters they could have used for Japan, all these kind of different people they could have picked from, they picked Yasuke. Why do they pick Yasuke? Because he's black.
Obviously.
So in context, that doesn't matter to me. Because in all the Assassin's Creed games, every single character has been of some kind of different race and nationality. So that doesn't matter to me. That's fine. But you have to understand what day and age we're in. You have to understand the kind of social shit that they want to try to get across in these video games now. So instead of using a Japanese man in a game based in Japan, like they did with the other Assassin's Creed games, Altair, he was an Arab, obviously. One of my favorites, Connor, in Assassin's Creed 3, he was Native American. That was fine. And the most famous of them all, Ezio Auditore, who was Italian. So why in all those games would you have a character representative of the region they're from? But in this game, you want to demote a Japanese man and then use Yasuke. I understand why. We know why. But they're not going to tell you why. Because if you call it out, you're some kind of ist or phobe or whatever. And since I'm black and I'm calling it out, that means that I must hate my skin or something. You know how they do. I just see this and my immediate thought is they did this for brownie points.
By the way, that wasn't the full take. I'm just going to get into it in a little bit. But already right off the bat, I feel like people are taking this stuff way too seriously. I mean, like the first thing that really matters in a video game, at least in my opinion, is the gameplay. And they haven't even shown that yet. And of course, I'm not saying that story doesn't matter either. So I can understand why people might be a little bit confused. But to my knowledge, Yasuke was a person that was actually in Japan, or rather he was brought to Japan. And apparently there are a lot of holes and unconfirmed things of his backstory story, as with a lot of people during that time. From what I hear, he's kind of like a folklore character over there in Japan. I could be wrong about that. I'm not Japanese, so I really wouldn't know. However, if that is the case, I kind of see this as like a, I don't know, if Assassin's Creed were to take place in America and like Johnny Appleseed showed up for whatever reason, and he was like an American soldier and like fighting for the North, right, to free the slaves, or if I don't know, if like the Jersey Devil was like a character that you could play as in Assassin's Creed and it took place in America, which honestly would be pretty fucking cool. But I hope you can kind of understand what I'm getting at, right? It's kind of like a folklore character that you can play as, but instead of being whatever I just said, it's a black guy in Japan, because the actual guy was a black guy in Japan. And I get that people are angry about him being the main character, right? I don't think people would have had a problem with it as much if he wasn't the main character and if he was actually like a retainer or like a side character, right? That you could see in game, maybe interact with like a vendor or something. But it's not even like it's the first time Yasuke's been in media. I remember there was a Netflix anime that's probably still on Netflix right now. I used to watch it, but it literally had him as the main character. It was centered around him. And I can 100% see why people would see this as them looking for brownie points. Kind of like, oh, hey, look what we did. We added a black character in a predominantly Asian area as the main character. Isn't that so inclusive? But here's the thing though, I don't really even think that we know yet how much of the game is going to be centered around Yasuke. Now it could be like the main character mostly, and they could probably do a system where like they swap between each character. If I'm being completely honest, I feel like if the gameplay is top notch, or if it's even like meeting expectation, I'm pretty sure nobody's gonna have a problem with it. So that's why it kind of seems like to me people are crying too much about it. Like, I mean, it would be one thing, I guess, if they made both characters black, because then, I mean, it really wouldn't be realistic if you're hung up on that. And you know, I don't want to take a guess, but I mean, I'm pretty sure it's safe to assume that the second character, the female, is of Japanese origin, right? So it's not even like Japanese people aren't getting any representation from this. Just because you're gonna have to play as a black guy for like maybe half of the game, it shouldn't be a cause for you to act so dramatic.
Yeah, I think that's the way a lot of people feel about it. It's the same with having like a girl as an assassin. Like, what the, like, bro, like, yeah, you had a little bit of that, but like, what are we doing here? Like, we gonna really talk about this is what feudal Japan was like? It's a story about a black guy and a girl? Like, that's just probably not the way it was. And it's like, it doesn't really matter, right? It's like, you know, for example, because I was thinking about this, is like The Last Samurai. Because like Tom Cruise, The Last Samurai, like, why did people, like, because I don't know, like, how much different really is that versus this? It's hard really to say, because I was typing that too. That's a fair point. There are better choices. Yeah, and it's just like, here's the problem with like something like this. This is where I come from with this. Very different era though. Yeah, that's true. Is that whenever I see like a game that comes out and it has, you know, this is feudal Japan and like the main character is a black guy and a girl, I immediately like, there's like no escapism that this can provide, because the entire story is built on the foundation of trying to appeal to a quote modern audience. Like, that's the way that I see it. Is like, whenever I look at something like this, I don't view this as like an authentic like piece of fiction. I don't view it as a, you know, like, you know, it's not historical. It's just like kind of fan fiction in a way. And so not appeal to, but influence. Well, either way, right? Whatever you want to call it. I don't want to argue like what the word you want to use is, but just overall, like if I was a Japanese person, I would probably be kind of annoyed by this. I'm not, so like I don't really like. I mean, I don't like what the fuck does my opinion matter, right? But the truth is that that's the way I see it. Whenever I see a game that gets released and it has something like this, I just immediately don't take it seriously. Because it's just that I think I just assume it's fake. Like, it's just some bullshit, fake bullshit. That's it. I mean, you should care about appeal and influence because the idea is to indeed influence. Yeah, but everybody also has the right to influence people how they choose, because everybody has the right to expression, even if you disagree with them. Just like we do whenever we're talking about it right now. All art is bullshit and fake. Yeah, you're right. It is all bullshit and fake, but there's something that's like a willing suspension of disbelief. And I think that really, I don't really get that with this game, because it's just so in your face. And it just seems like, it's like there's no way this was done without, like, this was done very clearly because of like the race and gender of the characters. Like, that's why it's like this. It's forced, yeah. And like I see that, and it's just like, okay, this is just. I gotta take it that seriously, you know?
Okay, and this is the part of the take that actually made me want to make the video, because I mean, like, that was just silly. I'm sorry, bro. But Asmongold, I mean, like, let's be for real, okay? Like, a female assassin could take 3 of you out, okay? I mean, we're not talking about a regular female here, right? This woman's armed and dangerous, okay? She's trained. And the reason why I had so much of a problem with it is because he's trying so hard to appeal to the realism and the historicity of the game, or like, as he says, like the realistic fantasy genre, when to my knowledge, I mean, Assassin's Creed has almost never been realistic. From you like jumping off of entire buildings and just landing in a hay barrel all softly, getting up with no broken bones or any injuries. Also, like, aren't you time traveling in this game? Like, throughout each Assassin's Creed, aren't you time traveling to experience the memories of other assassins? Correct me if I'm wrong. I've only ever played Odyssey, and that was like years ago, so I kind of really don't remember anything. Apparently in one game, like, you fought the Pope and he turned into a wizard or something and started using magic. So, I mean, if that's your issue and you really want to appeal and hang on to this realistic part of things, this historicity, I feel like you should have an entire issue with this whole franchise. Now, maybe he's not aware of any of this stuff happening. Maybe he's forgetting, right? I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But if he's not, I mean, it seems odd to me that you wouldn't point out the inconsistencies of the entire franchise as a whole when it comes to realistic stuff, and just kind of focus in on, oh yeah, man, a trained assassin woman can never beat 3 guys. Like, what the fuck is this, bro? Like, come on, man, it doesn't make any sense. On top of that, in the trailer, you literally just watched the trailer, she got folded the first time when she tried to brute force 3 guys, and then later on in the trailer, she goes around the building, you know, tries to do her assassin thing, and she succeeds. She takes stealth as an option and she succeeds. So to kind of say a trained assassin couldn't take out 3 dudes is kind of wild, especially in a franchise like Assassin's Creed. If you ask me, that's more believable than you time traveling through somebody else's memories that you're probably related to and living through their memories. Yeah, man, I mean, like I said before, I can kind of see why people would view this as like a diversity thing, right? A forced diversity, because it's happened so much in video games, right? I mean, and not just video games, movies, TV shows, it can get really tiring for sure. But I mean, hey man, if you wanted to play as an authentic Japanese guy, there's always Ghost of Tsushima. That's a that's a pretty damn good game. And for the black people who are mad about this, who think that this is pandering to like the lowest common denominator or whatever, I promise you guys, you'll go on to start hating on the next thing that you think is racist or you think is appropriating black culture in like 2 weeks, bro. And plus, if the gameplay is good, no one's going to care. Asmongold even points this out. Like, nobody's going to care if this game is actually good. And look, man, I'm not Japanese, but if you are and you are looking forward to playing a Japanese character, a Japanese man, or maybe you're just Asian and you wanted to play as an Asian character, I mean, hey, there she is. That's your character. So it's not like you don't have representation for Japanese people or Asian people in this game. So it's not really like you can complain about that, at least. I don't know, man. It just seems like a lot of nitpicking to me. But those are my thoughts on the situation. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button. If you want more content similar to this, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you in the next one. Sub up, stay safe, and peace.